And we are live. It is the ultimate test. It is the test of wits from here on in.
Situation, India made 217 in their first innings. New Zealand, in reply, are 101 for 2.
Yep. Gotta say, the graphics are pretty underwhelming of the official broadcaster. Expected a lot more. Yeah, we're doing a radio style event today. A throwback to a time less known, less remembered, and less appreciated. So I hope that's fine. It doesn't matter because I got the mic, I got the comp, I got the mouse, and everything is under my control. What's not under my control is the weather, but I'm not liking this sun. I wished it was a little more cloudy. Anyway, it's going to be exciting. I think you can see the graphic on the feed, and I think that percentage increases up to 80% when it's tests played in England. So all of you who have resigned to the fact that it's a dead end, I would like you to reconsider. Having said that, the New Zealand team bat so deep. It's like the Marina Trench. It's like the Great Reef of the Oceania. And I think what the Indian bowlers need to do is bowl a yard fuller for starters, because that's an aggressive length. They shouldn't be too worried about being hit around, because if they want to make a statement and be the first mover towards a result, it should be made very clear from the outset itself, because that sets the tone. Look, in all likelihood, it's going to be at best a nervy draw for either team. But even if it's a nervy draw, I think it'll be worthy of a final. I think there's been enough bitching about the scheduling. We will touch upon that between overs and stuff like that. But for now, it's Ishant, it's Bumrah to Kane Williamson. And Kane Williamson, just a friendly reminder about Kane Williamson's average. Kane Williamson averages 26 point who cares in England. Richard Illingworth, destined to be an umpire with that face even as a 10-year-old. And Michael Goff will be the active wicket umpire for this over. Made a couple of good calls, did Michael Goff. I mean, so far the umpiring has been of a very high standard. Not to sound cliched, but it's true. Except for that one little dicey review that they had for Virat Kohli's flick that missed his bat to BJ Watling. And the umpire is going to say, play any second now, and let's play. It's Bumrah to Kane Williamson. Good line outside the off stump, slightly short of length and left alone comfortably by Kane Williamson. So as I was saying, right, it all depends. Actually, India, on paper, New Zealand are like significantly ahead. But I feel like in the current circumstance, I feel like India definitely has the upper hand in terms of setting the tone. By their fields and by their lengths. And 3 slips in place, a gully to Kane Williamson. Just short of length and defended off the back foot. Just rolls to point where Ravindra Jadeja will clean up. Good pace there by Bumrah, 140. The Indian bowlers have been significantly quicker than the New Zealand bowlers. New Zealand have clocked an average speed of about 132, and India are like a good 5-6 kilometers faster. Uh, but you know what? That doesn't matter because it's all about the length in this on this wicket. You get it up there and you give the ball something, a chance. Third ball coming up. Slight away movement, but too wide, left alone comfortably there by Kane Williamson. Rohit Sharma gives it a good old rub. I'm talking about the ball, the cricket ball. Uh, yeah, the ball is going to be. I mean, there is some excessive maintenance happening with the ball here. Dukes is fairly is a low maintenance ball. Um, and Bumrah will be running up for his fourth delivery. Let me give you some volume from the ground. Oh, fantastic line. Just a shade outside the fifth stump, and that goes past the outside edge. That's what Bumrah can do, with that wrist position always threatening to come inside. You always, if he gets it in that corridor, you're tempted to play because he gives you the illusion that you need to play. And if it straightens like it did there, it's virtually impossible to negotiate. So I think that's basically the line and length for Bumrah. Just outside the fourth, fifth stump on a good length. Oof, similar line there. Length a touch fuller. And Kane Williamson plays it neatly under his eyes. No stress. But it's good to see that the Indians have a good body language about themselves. You could see Virat Kohli popping some nuts while talking to Ravi Shastri. That only means one thing. It means India want to make a statement early on in this game. Otherwise, there was no reason for Virat Kohli to pop cashews at such a rapid frequency into his gullet. Bumrah, that was a no ball call, and it'll be the fifth ball of the over. 3 slips in place. And that's slightly uppish, driven straight to Ravindra Jadeja at point. Good lengths here straight away from Bumrah on the fuller side. I think if there was any complaint, if there was any criticism of the Indian bowling in that first innings, which they kind of got right towards the last half an hour of play on day 3, is that it was slightly short of length and they needed to be a yard fuller to get the batsman committed into playing a shot, because that's the way you get wickets in England. That's the way you get quick wickets in England. 3 slips in place and a gully. Oh, edged and just short off second slip. Williamson, it's very hard to get him nicking. And when it does also, it's very hard for the ball to carry because of his really extra soft hands. But good first over there by Bumrah. Solid stuff there by Bumrah. Isn't it fascinating, that stat on screen, that test matches are getting over more rapidly than ever before? And that is why in one of my most recent videos about making test cricket better, I recommended that we move on to a 4-day test situation with 105 overs per day, because the net loss in that case is just about 30 overs, which is practically zero in current modern day standards. And what happens with the 4-day test match is that you also have a reserve day, but also every test match can start on a Thursday and end on a Sunday, bringing in more attention on the weekend. So it breeds familiarity amongst audiences that, oh, it's Thursday, it's test match day. How cool is that? Because there is a culture in North America, and to a certain extent even the EPL, where there's a certain identification. Oh, it's Saturday, Sunday, so these games are going to happen. So that's what you want to do with Test cricket. That it's a Thursday means it's the start of a Test match. There is a shot. Shishant Sharma will be bowling the second over of the day to Ross Taylor. I think there is a short-ish square leg in place and a shortish mid wicket. 3 slips in place. That's full down the leg side, swinging. Ross Taylor tends to start a bit slowly, and is always a little circumspect early on in his innings when the ball is moving. But once he gets past that, then that front foot starts striding much more confidently. All right, as you can see, there are three slips. There is a conventional-ish square leg. There's a short mid wicket. There's a short cover, and there's a point. And Nishant Sharma will be looking for that fullish length right about middle off stump, because there is a leg side field sort of. Be looking to get the ball in, overcompensating there, and again down the leg side. So he's got a short mid wicket catching, presumably, or rather obviously. And I think the tactic is very clear here to Ross Taylor to get the ball in, hooping in. And he has a tendency of slightly falling across, and then you open up possibilities of a leading edge to mid wicket, an uppish flick to mid wicket, a mistimed pull to short leg, and an LBW. So the tactic is very clear, and if the odd ball straightens, then three slips come into play. So it's looking three slips. Oof! Again, decent swing, hits him on the front pad, high on the front pad. Taylor was again falling across a bit, as I mentioned. When the ball comes in, he tends to just fall across. His head goes a little off towards the off stump, away from the off stump. And that's why he tends to play around it. As we can see how Kohli and Williamson negotiate the ball that's in line with the stumps. Kohli prefers to work it towards the onside, and Williamson plays it right back to the bowler. We can pretty much tell who has a little more skills up their sleeve. Although Kane Williamson is the definition of perfection. Fourth ball, well played there by Taylor, plays it in front of his front pad, covering the swing. Goes to Ravichandran Ashwin at mid-on. And yeah, there are a couple of scenarios that we can draw up, right? About 25 overs this session. If they can get a couple of wickets here with about 50 runs, then that's 152 for 4. And in the next session, they'll have to wrap them up if they have to force a result. If India has to force a result. Otherwise, it is going to be a Kiwi slice. It's going to be a Kiwi slice. Three slips in place. Ishant to Ross, and again worked diligently and safely to square leg with a half check, half flick shot. Touch to full that by Ishant. Needs to get him committed on the front foot early and get those slips in action. Strike rate versus full balls is higher for Kohli than Williamson. Understandably so. Oh, that is interesting. Williamson gets out more caught behind and in the slips than Virat Kohli. 60% to 46%. Interesting. You would think otherwise, but it's not the case. Ishant to Ross Taylor. Well played there again. Defended in front of the off stump. Using that back leg for some extra balance, getting it across and covering the in-swing neatly. So there are a couple of scenarios we can draw up. Who is going to win? It most likely will be a draw. And I would give 10% to India, and then the other 10% to... I would give 12% to New Zealand and 4% to India at this stage. And the rest is just draw. Bumrah will continue. To Williamson. 3 slips in place and a gully. Jasprit to Kane Williamson. Oof. Nice lift there. Way outside the off stump. Kane Williamson leaves it. Wants nothing to do with it. And as you can see, Bumrah's pitch length, his pitch map has been fairly full this morning, especially the back end of that over where he got it a touch fuller and got Williamson committed sort of to play a shot. That's what happens when you bowl up to the batsman. It's difficult to leave when it's that length. Again, angling in, work to mid wicket for no run. What India shouldn't do is should be wary of is in the quest to run through New Zealand, they shouldn't be desperate. You still have to follow the traditional approach of bowling consistent lines and then setting up the batsman. And once you do that, then anything can happen if you get the first 2 wickets quickly. But still, the discipline has to be maintained. 3 slips in place. Very well left again by Williamson. Knowing the Kiwi side is that they just tend to be. They tend to play a more cautious brand of cricket. That's not to say that they are not aggressive, because they are. But when there's more on the line, they just tend to go into a little bit of a shell. Um, that can just be body language. I don't know. I can be reading it wrong, but from years of watching this test side is that when they're on top, they're like Bumrah to Williamson, short of length, steer to point off the back foot. Again, Bumrah needs to get that yard fuller. I think everyone will know that. The wicket does seem to be a little dry. So, Mr. Ash, come on, Ash, should be expected in the ensuing half an hour. So, what I meant to say with New Zealand is that uh, they don't have that crack mentality like a Kohli, right? So, India should make use of that lack of crack mentality. Um, I'm not alluding to New Zealand being a conservative side, because they're far from it. It's just that in comparison to India, I feel like India takes the bull by its horn, and when it comes to big match situations like this, I tend to think that that's what works. Also, coming to the point of responsibility of these teams, with given the amount of time that's left in this test match, Bumrah bowling to Williamson to complete the over. Very well defended again, just outside the off stump. Slightly on the move there, Williamson. I think both teams have a responsibility to live up to a brand of cricket that just promotes test cricket. And everyone knows what is at stake. Yes, there is a mace, believe it or not. They should just make it a cup, for crying out loud. Anyway, there is a big title at stake. So I understand that, but I think they should look at the larger picture and play a brand of cricket that promotes test cricket. And both teams should look for a result. That's the responsibility. You want to call it responsibility? I would think of it as a moral obligation towards the sport and its fans, given the amount of time that we have lost. And this final is 2 years in the making. So you owe it. These guys owe it to the 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 watching servants, such as myself and many million others, to produce a entertaining remaining 2 days. It's on them, and I can trust Virat Kohli, Virat Kohli and his boys to that, but not New Zealand. Not New Zealand. They have lost. Look, they are carrying a lot of baggage. They have made it to multiple finals, multiple semi-finals throughout the years, but have just about fallen short of the finishing line. So they'll take a draw. They will take a draw, and they'll be very happy with it because they get some fingers on that mace. So they have a lot more to lose than India. So India should seize that mental advantage. Two slips and one wide third, slips full and driven back to Ishant Sharma. Uh, we're into over number 3 of the day. As you know, we were supposed to get 98 overs in, but now that's been culled to about 91 overs, um, which is still a lot of overs when you think about it. And things can happen quickly in England. We saw how India seemingly were on top at 146 for 3, and then one morning and one session, and boom, it's gone. It's like an eggshell, right? It's very fragile or fragile if you're a douchebag. Um, Ishant Sharma to slightly squared him up on that occasion, but still well in control of that back foot defense. Um, I don't know how you guys have been sort of processing Dinesh Karthik's commentary. The first day I listened to him a bit, I was a little thrown off by his over enunciation. Like, I think he kept saying the word allow, 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 ALLUV, with gay abandon. He was very unbridled with that pronunciation. So that kind of threw me off a bit. Oof, again, did that hit the pad? Walks across and tries to work it to the onside. No timing on that. I mean, I thought it hit the pad. Ishant Sharma appeals, but Richard England quickly walks away. And now they are getting into a contemplative walk-in. Whether we need to review that. Rishabh Pant is saying, no, let's not do that. That is a leg by. I think that was too high. If anything, that was too high. Yeah, that was missing leg. Yeah, that was missing leg. Yeah. So that is a very clear tactic that we had touched upon a couple of overs ago. With that catching mid-wicket, catching square leg, he is making a very well-intended strategy of bowling into Ross Taylor, because he has a tendency of falling across, as we saw there in the previous delivery. So coming to Dinesh Karthik, then I'm thinking that, you know what, Dinesh Karthik, at least forget about his over enunciation and excitement and just try hardness. But I thought he held himself pretty okay the second day, and I think he's getting better. So congrats to DK. Judged him too soon. That's a good bumper by Ishant Sharma. Flies um, way above Kane Williamson, and Rishabh Pant flung himself like a mutant flamingo and got onto that one. So why isn't the scorecard being updated? Good question. Let me just see. I think from now on, it'll be all right. Hopefully. Inshallah. Two slips in place, and that's really well bowled. Full on off. Williamson plays a defensive stroke from the crease, gently back to the bowler. I think India have bowled pretty well so far, 4 overs in. I can just sense that there'll be something will give in the next couple of overs. That's for sure. That is for sure. Because Kane Williamson just looks that tad. I mean, you can't get anything from Kane Williamson. He's got that MS Dhoni like iceness about him, but he looks a tad pensive. He looks like he's guarding something. That's why I keep saying, right, that there is more for New Zealand to lose than India, and I hope that was the discussion before the day's play, because that's a very good approach. Knowing your opponent has more to lose than you is a far better approach than thinking, oh, they are ahead in the game right now. Bumrah continues to tailor. 3 slips in place. Oh, catches him high on the bat, and Again, slightly squares him up, and that rolls to a charging Ravindra Jadeja from point. Speaking of other test matches, yesterday Keshav Maharaj registered a hat trick against South Africa in what bizarrely was a test series that was part of this World Test Championship, which the final is taking place right now. So, yeah, there's that. So, I can't believe, why couldn't ICC just make this part of the next cycle? Like, what? again, just putting things out of context for no reason. Three slips in place and a wide gully. Again, slightly squares him up, but plays it with soft hands and they run through for a quick single. So Bumrah extracting some bounce here from this dampish Southampton wicket. And yeah, so Keshav Maharaj got a hat trick against a West Indies batting lineup that is just, which is largely cold, but sometimes they get hot and inspire, and then fools like me think, oh, it's the second coming of West Indies cricket, and it's never the second coming of West Indies cricket. Maharaj also means cook in Gujarati circles. Good bumper there by Bumrah. Dug it in. Good length also. Just flying above Kane Williamson's helmet, who ducks in a flash. Maharaj means cook in Gujarati circles. And it's safe to say that Keshav dished out the chef's special to three unfortunate Windies batsmen. The last wicket should have been dispatched into the stands because it was a leg sider going on with the arm, but I don't know who it was. He just comfortably glanced it as catching practice to leg slip.
Try and beat the slip.
Too wide there by Bumrah, left alone by Kane Williamson. I think, these are futile deliveries. But then they are seemingly futile, but they work as a setup. As we saw Kyle Jamieson bowl a number of wide-ish deliveries, which were easy leaves, and then brought in the hooping in swinger. So I think that could also be part of Bumrah's strategy, because he does have a hooping in swinger and up his arsenal. Really good channel there by Bumrah. Good length as well. But again, a touch wide, and that's left by Williamson. They're working vigorously on that Duke's cherry. I don't think it requires that much work because it is a fairly low maintenance ball. But I think you can see the Indian guys. They want something to happen, so that's a good attitude. That's good attitude. That's what's been so setting apart of this team than MS Dhoni's test team. Short of a length and defended off the back foot rather comfortably there by Williamson. End of the 54th over, and New Zealand 104 for 2. So Maharaj sprucing up the West Indies series, but also giving South Africa a lot to cheer because I think it's their first away test series win in 4 years. And this is right after Dean Elgar. Dean Elgar has taken the reins from Quinton de Kock. Rot. And if you think that I'm going to make an international comeback and play in the T20 World Cup, look, my policy is very simple on that. I like to tease and make people think that I'm coming back and playing the T20 World Cup. I'm still probably the best T20 batsman in the world, but that's what makes it fun not to play it. Ishant Sharma to Tyler, and well left again.
New Zealand just want to bat.
Some tight lines here by Ishant Sharma. Just needs to be consistent. Because that edge is not too far away. Yeah, it might seem like I am egging India on, but that's a very simple explanation. I am Indian, so I'm inherently biased, and hopefully I reach a point in my commentary career where I can be neutral and not fake neutral like every other Indian commentator. Because you know who's the most like obviously biased Indian expert? VVS Lakshman. It's ridiculous. Three slips in place, works it with a straight bat to mid on and steals a quick single. There's Ross Taylor. VVS Lakshman, you ask him anytime in one of these Star Sports shows, what do you think what do you think what do you think will happen, VVS? And he'll say, I think India will run through New Zealand. I think India will get 10 wickets in this session. He's always so obviously biased. It's a little disappointing. It's a little disappointing from the class of man VVS Lakshman. By the way, VVS Lakshman can't say her like Hill, Hank, Hurry, and Hazard. He can't say her. He just says an Oh, that's a sharp nip back into Kane Williamson's box. Kane Williamson had little idea about that because he was looking to play at it and then had to withdraw as it cut back and cut him in half. Yeah, he can't say her, VVS Lakshman. He has to say E. Like, can you help me? Urshil Gibbs. E does not want to eat. His style is very defensive. Um, Hercules is my favorite Greek god. Hampshire is my least favorite county. Are you guys getting the point? I'm not too sure. But point is, he can't say a her. His larynx does not release enough air. Three slips in place. Ooh, plays right in front of his front pad and rolls to a slightly straight mid wicket where Ajinkya Rahane is camped at. If he had not made contact with the delivery, that was right in front of the stumps. Right then, New Zealand have done pretty decent so far. No early jerks. That's what you want to be. That's the last thing you want happening to your side when you're entering after a 1.5 day break is to have a sudden early shift of momentum towards the other side, and that's just getting down the leg side. No harm done. Virat Kohli is a little excited about it, but he gets excited if a even if a butterfly gives birth. I don't know if butterflies give birth. I think they evolve, right, from a larva to a pupa to a butterfly, and after that, I don't know what happens. I have to admit it. I'm not very good with butterfly reproduction, but yeah, you get the point, right? He'll watch a fly die and get excited, Virat Kohli. So was that no? That was way outside the edge. Nothing doing. Virat. Shoaib Akhtar calls Virat Varat. Virat Kohli. Rishabh Pant looking exuberant. Good to see that. Nishant coming in for the last delivery. And again, some slight inward shape, played very close to the body and trickles to square leg, and they'll pick up one to end the over. Williamson is 13 from 60. India have put the pressure on him, have really not allowed him to, or as Dinesh Karthik would say, loved him. Allowed him to get anywhere. Eleven lakh people watching it on Hotstar. Amazing. Amazing. Why don't we go through some news? I think there's some quality news. Bumrah back into the attack. to Kane Williamson, and that's angled in, slightly straightens away and steered to point. Again, needs to be a yard fuller at all times, because once you drop a little shot, you give the batsman a good sighter, a good old-fashioned sighter to decide on whether he needs to be camped or needs to get forward. Bumrah, Kane Williamson, second ball, well left outside the off stump. I think the pitch is a little slow, uh, understandably, because there's been a lot of sweating in the last couple of days. So there's that. Anyway, talking about Jasprit Bumrah, he says, "I'm smiling, but the fire inside me is burning all the time." Yeah, yeah. I hope that fire translates to some wickets, honestly. Again, left alone by Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson, I have a feeling he enjoys leaving more than batting. I have a sneaky feeling he just takes a lot more pleasure to leave a ball and make contact with one. Because I feel like he thinks it's in his head it's a bigger victory to leave a ball. But like, ha ha ha, you thought I was gonna play at it? No. No way. No sir. I will not give you the pleasure. I will not give you the happiness, the joy of playing your ball. It's a wasted delivery. I think he derives sinister pleasure from it. Three slips in place. Hits him high on the back, but rides it comfortably off the back foot. And yeah, Williamson and like uh, New Zealand have made their intentions very clear that we are not going to push for anything here. We are just going to do everything in our resources to stay afloat, to not lose any wickets, and the onus is on you to create the chances. Understandably so as well, as he defends that one late off the front foot. Another feature of Williamson's batting, even if he gets on the front foot, he kind of plays it beside the stumps. So he waits for the ball to do everything that it has in it, and then offers back. Having said that, if it's such a late technique, which plays with such soft hands, plays so late, his average is still just so underwhelming. It's 26 in England and 21 in South Africa. So some averages for thought there. AFT. Win predictor from Booking.com. As we all know, Booking.com is a renowned. When you think about Booking.com, what do you think? I think of cricketing expertise. And if they're saying 6% to India and 20% to New Zealand, you better believe it. You better believe it. Also, 6% is a lot of percent, right? Like, so what does 6% mean? 6% means that 6 out of 100 times India will win from here. And what if it's that? Look, usually when I talk like this, nothing happens. So I'm just going to like save it. I'm not going to say more. Not going to say more. I'm not going to jinkia it. Jinx it. So Bumrah says that, anyway, coming back to Bumrah, I'm smiling, but inside me there's a fire burning all the time. That's romantic, that, you know what I mean? That's a bit much. So just hop up and get batsman out instead. Shami into the attack, replacing Ashant. Three slips, a gully, a mid wicket, a short mid off, a traditional mid on, and Mohammad Swami. Wild outswing straight away. Straight away, that was wild in a good way. But that pitched way, that moved a lot more after pitching, not in the air. Bit short of the length again. But that was significant seam movement. off the deck and kept swinging away. And Rishabh Pant thought he was in with a chance to collect it cleanly, but instead gets wrapped on the lower half of his palm. BJ Watling has put up a clinic on wicket keeping this match. Shami to Taylor. Oh, absolute peach of a delivery. Oh my God, Mohammad Swami. Woof. It's getting hot in here. It's getting hot. That was angled in and just straightened significantly. Taylor had no chance of making contact with that. Really split him, squared him up. Taylor doing extremely well there to withdraw his to hold his shape there. It was a dream delivery, angling in and just kind of moving away. Driven confidently through cover. And that'll be 4 runs. A touch too full. Shami should not be disappointed and go back to his old length. Because if at all there's any chance of picking up wickets, it's up in that fullish region. So I just hope that, as you see that shot again, just leans into it. Lovely timing. Didn't try to hit it hard at all. Pretty old-fashioned, as in it was not a check drive. It was more of a wristy cover drive. More bottom hand. But just leant into it beautifully, did Taylor. Oh, hits him high on the splice again. And Taylor converts that oohs and ahs into a quick, cheeky single. So Taylor has looked really good so far. Not chased at anything wide, keeping his shape, playing a little later than usual. Would I call this ominous for India? I wouldn't use ominous because India still have produced some decent lengths. And I'd say it's been an even contest so far this morning. Yes, there's a point and a short mid-off for Kane Williamson. Just slightly punches it off the back foot, runs to point, no run. But Mohammad Shami is your ace in the pack on this wicket. He needs to be the one causing the mini burst. I don't expect him to cause the entire burst, but there's a mini burst that's imminent, provided Mohammad Shami gets it right. Wow! Hits him high on the thigh. Beaten for pace almost there. Plays the first line, tries to play straight, but there's a little bit of outward seam movement and catches him high on the right thigh. Okay, so Mohammad Shami is looking absolutely primed to prize out a few wickets here. He will need support from the other end. I don't think they'll go back to Bumrah. But probably it will be Bumrah. Otherwise, it could be Ash. Who's excited to see Ash? I am, because I feel like Ash cares the most. I feel like Ash, he knows that he's never going to play a ODI World Cup or a T20 World Cup again. So for him, this means a lot more than the others. And that's why for that very reason, I'd give it to Ash, because, okay, Ishant Sharma is back into the attack from the other end, from where Bumrah was bowling. So let's go. Ishant to Taylor. Oof, again, down the leg side. He's bowled quite a few of these down the leggers, looking for the one to sneak in between back and pad, but just kind of trying too hard. Bumrah started off really well, he got that ball in that good length, fullish region. Then just started going a bit short after that. But the problem is, New Zealand bat deep, really deep. You're never comfortable. Even if you get like 3 wickets, they've got 3 batsmen that can like get you quick, solid runs. You have to think this is the session India needs to make a statement. Oh my God, that comes back in sharply and hits him in the on the lower finger of the left glove. Williamson seemingly in pain, trying to control it. I don't know whether it hit high on the knee or it hit the glove. Would need a replay on that. But he certainly got some part of his body there. That's a really good length there. Again, very full, inviting him to play a shot, inviting him on the front foot, and then realizing the length is not quite there and cutting back as well. We'll just tune into Ian Bishop.
Might just be there. A short ball will be just released from here. So you've got to find the ideal release point between here and just there, which is just a couple of inches. And if you're out coming over at that speed, can you release it at the appropriate point often enough?
Very well played there by Williamson, right in front of his front pad. It was a foolish delivery, but chose to play it from the crease. Ian Bishop was talking about, I think Nasser asked Ian Bishop, how hard is it to make the length adjustment from, even if it's like a yard? And Ian Bishop said that when he was bowling hard lengths in the Caribbean, where he's from, short of a good length because he's a tall lad, and he came to play a county season in Derbyshire, and suddenly realized this is not the length to bowl over here, and it took him a good 1.5 months to get that fullish length. So those who are thinking, oh, why can't they just bowl a bit fuller? It's tough. You need game time. You need overs under your belt, trying those lengths day in and day out, so that your brain and arm are in sync to bowl those foolish lengths. It's not an overnight affair. Although these guys are skilled enough to make that adjustment, it's very hard. There's a short leg in place, catching short leg in place. Williamson again plays that so late from the crease, right in front of his eyes, right below his eyes rather. There's a short leg, very square. It's almost on the square leg line and not very short. In fact, it's pretty deep. It's like a deep short leg. Almost halfway to the square leg umpire. So why are you wearing a helmet, brah? Shubman? Right, I think this will be the 8th over that'll be completed after day's play started. Man. Yeah, New Zealand have gotten to a decent rhythm here. Decent rhythm. It's pretty tense though. There's an air of tension, which is great. 3 slips, a short leg in place. Oh, tight leave outside the off stump. Williamson is just so hard to get out. My God. The good thing is that they're not running away with it by any stretch of the imagination with runs. But the bad thing is that Williamson is getting his eye in. He's getting his eye in. And he likes playing Indian bowlers. I'm not sure what his average is against India. We can quickly pick that out for y'all. What is the average generally against India? I'm just going to quickly get that out. Hold on. But we'll first finish this delivery. The last ball of the over. Oh, and that's out? Is that out? No, that's not. Hit him on the pad and just plops up to short leg. But no bat involved. What is his average against India? Opposition India. His average against India is 37.5. 12 tests, 200s. All right, that's compared to his overall batting average of 53.69. So it's not like he's Steven Smith. Steven Smith, more than looking forward to spending time with his wife, he looks forward to flicking Umesh Yadav over mid wicket. God, he's troubled us, hasn't he, Steven Smith? Ishant Sharma, really full straight delivery, driven strongly and punchily back the opposite stumps by Ross Taylor. No run. I think Ross Taylor is looking. I don't know whether he's over anxious or overconfident. I'd say somewhere in between. But it looks like he wants to make his innings count. Yeah. But I think India have created bold good areas. They shouldn't be too disheartened by the lack of wickets so far. Anything can happen. They should always remind themselves things can happen very quickly. Always stay in the game, no matter what. Three slips in place. Oof, pegged to the back foot there by a heavy delivery by Shami. Defended almost jumpily on the toes. As we see Ross Taylor's average against pace is 44.48 and average against spin is 50.69. That makes no difference to whatever we are seeing right now, because that's what stats do. They just give you a indication, but that's about it. Thinks about cutting that one, but lets it go because that had some lift off the wicket and it was not too wide. So Ross Taylor doing the right thing by leaving it. And let's scan some more news. Craig Brathwaite, the West Indies captain, says, "We are sorry," after humiliating defeat against South Africa. Look, uh, sorry doesn't bring an alligator back to life, if that's the saying. Oh my God, peach again by Shami. Angles it in and moves away, squares Taylor up completely. Squares Taylor like a Rubik cube. I want to say squares Taylor like a Rubik. Is it Rubik's or Rubik? I don't know. I've seen a lot of people solve it effortlessly, but I am convinced no matter how much effort I put into solving it, and no matter how many years I spend in random caves trying to learn the art of making a Rubik's Cube work, I'm convinced I'll never be able to do it. I'm not convinced about many things in life. If there's one thing I'm convinced about is I'll be an absolute abject failure with the Rubik's Cube. It's Rubik's, right? I think so. I don't know. Or Rubik. Really good line again there by Shami. And right on the off stump, but Ross Taylor just leaves it on length, on height. But you know what? He is creating an atmosphere of pressure, is Shami. So don't be too surprised if there's a wicket on the offing. Leaves that one very nicely outside the off stump. Decent shape there by Shami as well. Already you can see the change in lengths by Mohammad Shami. Oh yeah. Sunil Gavaskar says Muhammad, not Muhammad. Muhammad. He loves saying Muhammad. Muhammad. I don't know, man. Isn't it Muhammad? Isn't that the more dignified way of saying Muhammad? Muhammad. And he also says, for generally, he says generally. Generally. Those are my pet peeves. Two of my biggest pet peeves. Sunil Gavaskar saying Muhammad Shami and generally speaking. So Craig Brathwaite, look man, sorry is cool, but if you're having your top 6 batsmen average 30 between 30 to 35 in first class cricket, you really can't be a threatening side. Having said that, Kyle Mayers has been the biggest revelation in their team, and watch out for this kid called Jaden Seals. That motherfucker is a smooth cat. Very effortless gliding action. Tall bloke. Wouldn't say he's Rabada like, but he's got his own thing going for him. But he looks like a real popping deal. Sort of second ball of the over is Ishant to Williamson. 3 slips in place. Again down the leg side, looking for that one to come back in. It's just doing a bit much for Ishant. He should just try focusing to getting that line in the off stump and just outside off stump region. Obviously, he's trying that, but it's just a lapse in execution. Riddhiman Saha looking elegant in his neon red jumper. I hope they're taking care of Saha. Third ball of the over coming up. Ishant to Williamson. 3 slips in place and tries to drive, but takes the inside edge-ish and just runs to square leg. But they'll pick up 1. There you see, that was a very drivable length, but still, I think because of some late movement off the pitch, it took the inside half of the bat. So driving is not as easy at look unless it's right up there, as there was one to Taylor, I think by Mohammad Shami. Virat Kohli is indicating that Williamson is not really fluid with his bat speed. He's jerking, so it's just a matter of time before he edges one to us. I like it. Virat Kohli can sense something happening. 3 slips in place, a short leg. Oh my God, is that? Oh boy, digs it in, takes the glove, and 2 wide for Rishabh Pant, and that'll be 4. That was a chance created there by Ishant Sharma. Bowled the surprise short delivery after bowling it up right to the stumps. Catches Taylor a little bit by surprise, and that lifted. Only if Rishabh Pant was 5 inches taller, would have been a much better chance for him to gather it. But chance created. Indians should look at it as a chance created rather than a chance lost. It's all about these mind tricks that you need to play with yourself to stay ahead of the game. And 3 slips in place. Oh my God! Again, really good line. Taylor tries to drive it towards mid-on and straight, but it just misses his inside edge. Could have easily been played on. There you can see, that's what happened. Like, you bowl that short delivery, now you're already making the batsman think whether it's going to be... You see there, little movement with the front foot because of the previous delivery, and was just played down the wrong line there, did Ross Taylor. And 2 very, very decent chances being created here. One, an actual legit chance that was just wide of Rishabh Pant, and here beating the inside edge. Slightly short of length, got him on the front foot though. Defends it away to point, but that'll be no run. And yeah, so it's been no wickets so far. No wickets to speak of, because there have been no wickets that have fallen to speak of. So that's the math on that. But India definitely looking like the more confident team. Definitely looking, as I suspected, definitely looking like the more confident team. Have corrected their lengths to a significant degree in this inning. And now they're getting back into that rhythm that they had showed a glimpse of towards the end of day 3. And now if they can string a bunch of overs, there is no doubt that they're going to create more chances. Mohammad Shami to Williamson. 3 slips and a gully in place. Full, way outside off stump, and Williamson leaves it. And the ball kind of tails in after passing the stumps and confusing Rishabh Pant. That's a feature of English bowling in England is that it'll be straight, maybe seam in and out a little bit after pitching, but after it passes the stumps, there's some violent movement that is just designed to cause minor injuries, minor palm injuries for the wicketkeeper. There's a mid wicket, catching mid wicket, and there's a mid off and a mid on. 3 slips and a gully. Shami to Williamson leaves that one, slight shape away, way outside off stump. And Asha Arut says dead draw. I'm sticking my neck out and still saying that there's more in the offing here. So let's not be morose about this match, and it's gonna get spicy at some point. Honestly, it really befuddles me that ICC. Why couldn't ICC just have one more reserve day? Like, it was such an easy thing to do. Why couldn't they have? Fine, okay. Ideally speaking, after the weather was made very clear, 8 days before the game, you should have rescheduled it. Fine, that's all right. But why couldn't you add another reserve day? That would have been perfect, right? Having said that, I still think there's a lot of overs in this game. A lot of overs. Shami, Williamson. Again, really nice shape outside the off stump. Really well left. Good ball, good batting. Some solid cricket here. This is the kind of cricket that needs to be played day in and day out. And every time I do watch a lot of T20 cricket, and I enjoy it in the moment, and I'm very... Actually, you know what? T20 cricket is... Let it stay, it's fine. They should just phase out ODI cricket. Just phase it out. Phase it out. Anyway, what are you guys feeling? All of you feeling a draw? Very nicely played there by Williamson, right underneath his eyes. Williamson has an interesting technique. Doesn't really commit with that front foot ever unless it's almost near full Yorker length. He's happy to play good length and foolish deliveries off the back foot, especially when it's seaming. As we see a bearded bloke going at an ice cream candy, rather an ice cream cone, slurping it up like there is no tomorrow, as one should. Right there, too full again. That's when Williamson gets on the front foot. That's when he releases that front foot. Otherwise, he's happy to play almost virtually anything off the back foot. When I say back foot, from the crease, because he has the ability to play just in front of his pad, beside his pad, and almost at the stumps. Despite that, that's such a solid technique. I don't know how he's averaged 26 in England. I don't know how. I think it's a curious case, much like Pujara, because even Pujara has a technique designed to play in England, but even he averages about 29. I think what they do is they eat up so many balls, and ideally when you do that in other conditions, you can score runs because the wicket stops. Ravi Shastri feeling a bit chilly, exhaling violently into his palms. If you want to smell his palms, I would caution you that you may smell something chemically. Nishant through Ross Taylor pushes him back on the back foot, just guides it to point, no run. Um, yeah, so why didn't ICC just have another reserve day? I mean, क्या हो जाता था अगर एक दिन और स्केड्यूल करते तो क्या हो जाता था कुछ नहीं because India don't have any games after that till August. New Zealand have a tour prepared for them, a Guinness beer tour prepared for them, arranged for them, and so you know what? Why couldn't they? I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm sure they'll have a million reasons, but none will be convincing. Trail just by 100 now, New Zealand. Ooh, gets that back into to tail a bit and checked neatly to mid on when Ravichandran Ashwin is camping out. Ravichandran Ashwin was warming up a bit 2 overs ago, so can he be the point of difference though? That's bizarre on the seaming swinging um, strip. It would be so ironic that a spinner comes in and makes the difference, but it's happened before. It's happened before because these guys have created a lot of pressure. Short leg, 3 slips in place, leaves that one alone. Yeah, again you can see the ball just dying down on Rishabh Pant. Although that was just at a meager 128 clicks. Um, the wicket is still a bit on the slower side, understandably so. So much sweating for 1.5 days. It's going to quicken up a bit. I don't know what. I think the forecast looks absolutely clear for today and tomorrow with a little bit of sun, in fact. Dude, the ice creams are selling like hot cakes in these cold conditions, and a lot of the Indians are having at it. Is it a thing, ice cream in cold weather? 3 slips in place. Ooh, that one comes back in sharply, but Taylor cautiously plays it off from the crease again to mid-on. He's basically getting his right foot across, his back foot across, so that it enables him to give more chance for his bat to cover the in swing. It just gives him more space to work with. As you can see, the morning session is 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. 91 overs to be bowled in the day. All right, okay. The over rate, I don't know how it's been so far, but it looks to be pretty decent. They cannot afford to fuck up the over rate at any cost. That's the only thing India should be concerned about. Get these overs through quickly. And that's flicked really nicely, but covered nicely by Ajinkya Rahane at mid wicket. Just leapt across like a new baby born gazelle. New baby born. I mean, newborn gazelle or a baby gazelle. BG. Baby Giselle. No, that's a lady. Giselle Bundchen. If you don't know Giselle Bundchen, then I'd be a little concerned for you, but that's fine. That's okay. Completely plausible. Anything in life is plausible. Believe it or not. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, because that's the truth. And Ishant coming towards his last delivery of his 18th over, the 17th over. Pushes him back again on the back foot and defended fairly comfortably. Again, the length has been here and there. They've strung a few full ones, but then again gone back to their pretty length, short of a good length. When I say pretty, means it looks good on the pitch map. It's hard to score off, but it's not really wicket taking. They have been a little averse to dishing it out consistently on the full length region. Understandably, because then you're risking to be driven and then the momentum can shift. So you want to keep it tight, but it's a more attacking length. It's way more attacking length. There has to be a result for this match. Do you think there's still a chance for the ICC to announce another? I think so. I honestly think so. Like, why not? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I think I said that. Yeah, they're probably going to have 1,000 reasons to not have it, but I just can't understand why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Like, honestly, I don't know. I don't get it. Oh shit! Sorry, my bad. My bad. Yeah, honestly, they can easily announce another reserve day. I'm asking you guys, what would stop them? What would be the crutches? What would be the limitation? What would be the limiting factors for ICC not to announce another reserve day? Is my question. And is it commercial? Is it a commercial thing? Do they have to pay the broadcaster something? Do they have to rework a negotiation? Are those commercial aspects something that we are missing out on? I'm not too sure. But I think, I think they will earn some love from the cricket fans if they actually are just smart enough and bold enough to make that simple decision, just another reserve day. Because it would be a real pity if this kind of drifts into a draw, which I don't think it will. I think at best it'll be, at the worst possible situation, is a nervy draw, which is again a really beautiful result, but it has to be really nervy. Like, you have to have caused significant damage to your fingernails and be at the risk of a kidney stone. That's when you know a test match has lived up to its potential. Players are taking drinks. Desmond Haynes, 116 tests, 42.29 average. An absolute legend of the game. I don't know if you guys watched him, but there are a couple of innings in Australia where he just where he really cuts and pulls with a fervor that will get your blood running, get your blood jostling. ICC should do the right thing. ICC have to do the right thing, but I think it's too late. It's too late. If they had to make that call, they should have before today. Virat Kohli's getting his boys really excited with no magazines and no internet involved, just by words, which is what you want. It's not too far from the time we're going to see Ravichandran Ashwin. I really believe that he's going to be the point of difference. You can see some foot marks for the right-hander, although there are more foot marks for the left-hander, if at all they come. But Jadeja can use that when Henry Nicholls comes, when Neil Wagner comes. There's some options, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Jasprit Bumrah brought in again. I like how Virat Kohli uses him. Always uses him in 3-4 over bursts, because with that shoulder, with that spring shoulder, to get the most out of him, you need to use him in maximum 5 over spells. So I think they've had an elaborate discussion and talked among themselves how crucial it is to get that breakthrough right now. Again, touch short of a length and guided off the back foot to cover. Quietly punched away. There's been zero intent by the Kiwi pair to make any sort of statement of dominance. But then again, I was never expected. But they've done really well so far. It's been a absolute even contest. India have corrected their links, as I mentioned. They have made the batsmen play a little bit more than they did in the first 1.5 hours of New Zealand's batting. And they just need to plug away at that full length. Again, touch short of a length into Kane Williamson, defended breezily from the crease. They have to risk getting hit. They have to risk being driven. because look, there's not enough pace in this wicket to bowl short of a length and threaten the back foot. Although Ishant Sharma did, you want to use the short ball as your wicket taking delivery after a setup, like Ishant Sharma did, and created a chance which went wide of Rishabh Pant. Williamson up to Bumrah, and again defended quietly off the back foot, slightly squared up, slight away movement after pitching. Williamson, it's really difficult to get him on the front foot. You have to be really full. To get him committed on the front foot, you need to be 5-6 inches fuller than you would with another batsman, because he's very happy to be deep in the crease, playing from the crease. And that's why your length has to be that much fuller to Kane Williamson than to a regular batsman. So far, it's been pretty on the pitch map, but it's not been penetrative enough. That's the length. Much fuller. And Gordon Williamson slightly on the front foot. A little bit of a cute half stride. Needs to be, again, another 5-6 inches fuller, and you'll get that commitment going. Anything happens after that, you're in with a chance. If it moves back in, then there's a space between back and pad. If it holds its line, then you're threatening that outside edge. It's just a matter of consistency. How long can you keep doing this? I don't know if they have a short leg in place for that surprise shot delivery. No, that short leg is removed. Okay. And again, wide, very wide, easy leave outside the eye of Williamson. And this will be ball number 5 of the over. ICC ideally should have, I don't know, there's this whole culture of not believing weathermen, right? Oh, the weathermen are like, have their heads and asses exchanged, because whatever they say never really, but then we live in a highly technologically advanced generation. So the joke's on you if you don't believe the Met department. They should have postponed it, but anyway. Again, short of a length, worked to mid-wicket comfortably. No run again. I think New Zealand have forgotten the concept of runs. They're completely fine with going through the session, virtually getting no run from here. That's completely okay with them. Because as I keep saying, New Zealand have a lot more to lose. A lot more to lose than India, because the last thing they want is coming to yet another final of an ICC event and giving it all up. Although they actually won, they shared the trophy with England, but let's not go there now. Let's not go there. What do you guys think? Like, is it divine justice that England won, or is it divine injustice that England won? Shami to roster, and that's upish, and that's caught. That's out. What a breakthrough! What a breakthrough! Pitches it up, gets him committed on that front foot, upish drive, and a beautiful catch by Shubman Gill. Just leaps forward like an adolescent frog and plucks it up from the ground, from the blades of the grass. Taylor wanted to force the issue over there, get something going. Hits him high on the bat, gets him forward. The length wasn't full enough for the cover drive. Hits him high on the bat, slightly sticks in the wicket, and plops up to cover. Not exactly, because Shubman Gill had to put in that really springy dive, and that's the breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have broken through here at the Rose Bowl. My ideal game plan, I think it's exactly what Kohli is doing. Keep bowling full. Just keep bowling full. Keep bowling full. Don't fear getting driven. Don't fear getting flicked. Don't fear getting hit. Tell New Zealand with your body language that you are the guys who have more to lose than us. And at no point, because there's nothing What will they do by trying to safeguard runs over here? They have nothing to gain from it. They have only something to gain if they go for wickets, and by that, having three slips always, having a catching cover, having a catching mid wicket, having a catching short leg, having a point inside the circle at all times. And look, Kabir Kudus, they have done everything right so far. Um as I keep mentioning, they've got their lengths right. They've got their lengths right. Bowl fuller, and you'll reap the rewards. I think I mentioned it. I don't want to toot my own horn here, and I played Oracle about 2 overs ago. I said it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before Shami makes the breakthrough. What a catch there! What a catch there by Shubman Gill. He liked that one. He liked that one. Everyone liked that one. I think Dinesh Karthik was mentioning earlier that India have fought back from adversity over and over again in the 2 year cycle. And that is why they inspire some level of confidence. Immediately squares Nichols up. Their Shami goes around the wicket, bowls on middle stump, and there's just holds its line. Nichols tries to work it towards the leg stump, towards the leg side, but catches the leading edge, runs away safely for one. That was really nicely set up there by Mohammad Shami. Got the fielder in the right position there, because that's not exactly cover. You know what I mean? That's somewhere between cover and mid off. Very good field placing there, because Williamson tends to drive a lot straighter than squarer, especially when the ball is full. Shami to Williamson. Sorry, yeah, Williamson. And that just glanced away to fine leg. And things are getting a little bit more interesting over here. Another wicket before lunch, and it's game on. And you can't help but think that it'll be Nichols. Although I'm a huge fan of Henry Nichols, I think he's just a solid bat. Reminds me of Hussey, both on the mental aspect and even when it comes to style. Both after hitting a beautifully timed check drive will act like as though it's not been timed and run. Ooh, that one comes violently back in, but so violent that it is too much for Rishabh Pant behind the wicket. Just swings away from him. That'll be 4 byes. Damn. 123 for 3, New Zealand. Shami is getting the ball to swing much more after the stumps than before. Maybe he would like to consider shifting that more before the stumps. Is that too much to ask for, Muhammad? Who else gets a little bit angsty when Sunny Gavaskar says Muhammad Shami instead of Muhammad Shami? Well played there by Nichols. Late on the front foot. Takes the thickish outside edge and runs away to gully. Soft hands again there by Nichols. Expect zero dominance from now onwards, because Nichols also takes a lot of time to get his eye in. So India is on the ascendancy here. I made it very clear at the start of the stream as well that on paper New Zealand looked like the team ahead, but just in terms of circumstance, India definitely are ahead because they batted first. So what happens when you bat first? You're already at an advantage, because if they fold New Zealand here for about 210 by tea or just after tea and bat about 20 overs tonight, I hate doing this because whenever I do this, nothing comes right. So I'm just going to reserve my crystal ball attempt over here, just to safeguard the country's interest. I'm a patriot at the end of the day. I'm a patriot. How many overs left in the session, though? Just want to see that. Because at the start of the day, all right, minimum overs remaining is 76. So 25 overs done. I think we're about 2 overs away from lunch. 2 overs away from lunch. Suddenly, Booking.com's predictor has gone from 6 to 8 for India. Bumrah back into the attack. Love this. Oh, absolute Jaffa. Absolute Jaffa. Angling in, straightening ever so slightly. Serious lift off the wicket. Williamson thinks about playing and then withdraws from the shot and watches it sail by him. Yeah. Good bounce. The wicket seems to have quickened up a little bit in the last 3 overs. And now the bowlers can come into their own. This is game on, gentlemen. This is game on. Don't be under the illusion that this is not game on. This is game on. 2 wide there. Williamson is happy to leave that one. That's 142 clicks, 88 miles an hour. Still haven't seen a 90 mile an hour rip tickling snorter yet, or even a toe crushing snorter. So that'll be nice to see some 90 action going on over here. How long are we going to be stuck in the 80s? Bumrah to Williamson. Tries to cut it, but misses. And he tries to cut it late to beat the point, who's fairly square. That's what Williamson does so well. He finds those gaps behind the wicket because the way he plays it late and misses that one. I don't think it bounced as much as he expected it to. So is that an indication of uneven bounce, gentlemen and ladies? Is there an indication? 3 slips in place and a gully. Bumrah to Williamson. Wow, absolute peach. Plays and misses. Again, angling into 5th stump. Draws Williamson forward and just misses the outside edge. Not just misses, but it's significantly beaten. Oh, actually just misses. I was right. Damn, that had some serious seam going for it inward pitches and just holds its line. So you're already committed to play that line and then it just takes away. Williamson plays so close to his body, so it's harder to find the edge. Kohli is egging the fans on. Just clapping away. Well played there by Williamson. This time plays it underneath his eyes. Slightly shorter by Bumrah, which allowed him to pick the length a little bit earlier. Bumrah, if he finds consistent full lengths, oh boy, it's going to be hard because every ball is doing something off the wicket. Every ball, you cannot trust the first line at all. You can play it if it's a bit shorter, like that delivery. Even that ball did something. Just go a little fuller. I have a feeling if he goes fuller, it's gone. It's over. Bowls a short one, comfortable for Kane Williamson. I don't think the short ball is... I think Dale Steyn had said bowl short to Williamson. I can't see how that's going to bring a wicket because his game is entirely based on playing the short of length and short delivery because he plays well within his crease, doesn't commit to the front foot, picks short balls very early. So I don't mean to be contrarian to the world's greatest fast bowler, Dale Steyn. A chump like me. But hey, I gotta say what I gotta say. In it, boys. We need to refresh the Google website. Which website are you talking about? The stream. Really? Shami to Nichols. 3 slips in place and a gully. Whoa, that's an absolute jaff. That's an absolute jaff. dug in shot from around the wicket, has Nichols jumping, and it just beats the outside edge. They're thinking about the review, but I don't think Rishabh Pant is excited. Rishabh Pant, only when Rishabh Pant is excited should you be excited. Because that boy don't fuck around like Ashwin. Had him jumping and feeling for it outside the off stump. That just took off. Just took off. Kept rising on him. Oh, yeah. Misses the glove by a whisker. By a hair. Like a mongoose's hair, because the mongoose's hair is a little thicker. And slashes hard. Slashes hard. Dug in, short and wide. Slashes hard. And flies over gully for 4. Went for the... I don't know what was the thinking behind that. Go for the shortish ball again. And that was so wide. Should have gone for the full one after that beauty. Very instinctive cut shot there. Saw the length and went for it. Between gully and point. Interesting to see what Shami does here. Will he go full or will he bowl short? What will be his length here? Short of length, just about. Good length. Plays it from the crease comfortably. Nichols. Nichols is a hard cookie. He's a very hard nut to dislodge. To shackle. Moving on to some news. Michael Holding says something very evocative and emotional. Oh, very well bowled. Finds the thick inside edge and that'll run to fine leg. Let's hear Ajinkya.
And looking to get back in a little bit of your bowl, then you have a better chance as a bowler to get wickets in England. So it's all about, I think, finding your length right. Mohammad Shami has been really good for us. He's been bowling really consistently well. So it's all about finding his length right in England.
Yeah. Shami, there was a graphic that was put up a couple of days ago. And in the last tour of England, Shami had created the most number of opportunities. 272 opportunities in that tour. And the next one was, I think, Ishant Sharma with 200. So there was a gulf. 272 opportunities created for like barely any wickets. Shami has been very unlucky in England. That's why he averages on the highest side of 40. Not on the highest side of 40, he averages about 40. But if he starts like getting that length a yard fuller consistently, man, he's going to be a handful every time. This short of a length thing works in Australia and in South Africa, where there's a little more kick, a little more natural bounce. In England, you just got to be a yard fuller, because once you get the batsman committed, anything can happen, because there's always something happening off the wicket. Very well bowled, a bit wide for my liking, but good length, good shape, well left by Williamson. And is that lunch? 66 overs done. I think this will be the last over before lunch. So Michael Holding, strong words from Michael Holding, says that he doesn't think that he'd be alive today if he had grown up in the UK. And I think he said something to the effect that every time he left Jamaica, he could feel like he was a second citizen, no matter where he went. Obviously, it's a very layered and not a very straightforward discussion, because I don't know if you guys know, but 2 West Indian umpires who were umpiring in this season's county championship said that ECB is the most racist, institutionally racist organization in the world, and just quit midway. Having said that, they have been employed by ECB. They've been given opportunities by ECB. Michael Holding has made all his money in England, in UK, but I think that I'm not. I'm being a little bit skewed with my analysis over here because that's not the fundamental issue. Bumrah bowling across the left-hander. Nichols covering the angle and defending it firmly. Yeah, so just by giving opportunity to, like, there have been a number of black cricketers that have played for England, right from Gladstone Small to Philip De Freitas to Chris Lewis. Sure, there have been some. I think there was one more in the early 80s, so they've progressed significantly. But that's all you can expect, right? You can't expect a clean wipeout of institutional racism. It's just minor improvements year in and year out. So it'll be interesting. Michael Holding has written a lot about the prejudice that he's been subjected to over the years in his book. So must be a really interesting read. I don't know. You can just Google it and see if you can get your hands on it. I don't know if I'll be reading it because maybe I should actually, because I have personally never been subjected to racism of any sort. So I just my level of empathy is a little weak. Well, my level of empathy is high, but my experience is such that I'm not able to fully empathize the way I'm supposed to be empathizing. So unless it'll be nice to get a first-hand perspective, especially from a legendary cat like Michael Holding. Missing the Jamaican vibes. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep fighting. Let's have a good time. Let's find those links. Man. Come on. Let's go. Let's make the ball like the girlfriend, man. Have him flirt with it. Make the ball like a girlfriend. Make the ball like a little lassie, like a little hottie. Make him feel for it. Make him flirt with it a bit outside the off stump. Come on, let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Let's get the edges outside our stump. Bumrah to Nichols, hit him on the pod. But that would be too high. Too leg side-ish. And there will be no runs. And two more balls left in the over. Right. I got a feeling every day I will know tonight. Just say tomorrow in the bluegrass going from here every day and every night. Bumrah getting a very nice acute angle across the left-hander. I think he should go around the wicket and try to angle it in and get it to straighten for this last delivery, but I don't know what he'll be doing. New Zealand 128 for 3. Still over the wicket. Oh, again across the left-hander, but Nichols does well to cover the angle on the front foot and just drops it to mid-off. And will that be lunch? No, I think there'll be one more over. I've been saying this for the last 3 overs, but it should be lunch after this. When did it start? It started at 4, right? Okay. Oh, then there'll be a lot more overs. Yeah. Then there are going to be a lot more overs. Why do left-handed batsmen look cooler than right-handed batsmen while batting? Because there's just lesser of them. Yeah, Suraj Naik. Also, there's an element of mythicality to this left-handed business. Because earlier there were very few left-handers like David Gower, Clive Lloyd, Alvin Carrington. Like the percentage of left-handers to right-handers are far lesser. And when there's something in lesser quantity, you obviously tend to value it a bit more. Having said that, there've been, I don't know if you watched Graeme Smith bat. I don't know if you watched Shivnarayan Chandrapur bat, Fawad Alam bat, Dean Elgar bat. They're not the most easy on the eye, so to speak. So I think it's more apocryphal than a reality. Although if you have to consider the most elegant, attractive batsman to have lived, then it has to be a left-hander, because there's Brian Lara, who's by far the most attractive batsman to look at. Yeah, but I hope that answers your question. There's just lesser of them. So when you see lesser of something, you value it a bit more. You find it a bit more attractive naturally. Then who is this guy? He's not like us, right? So it's a bit of flair. You find that one oddball in your group, right? And suddenly you think, oh shit, who is this guy? So I think it's a human insight. I don't know if that's true, but that's my take on it. Yeah, Suraj Nayak. Yeah, there's a huge debate on racism by other Brits. I think F1 is a fairly racist. I wouldn't say racist. That's a bit harsh. Closed off to diversity. But then again, wow, very well bowled, very well played there by Kane Williamson. Late movement, full at the stumps. And Kane Williamson is 15 from 101, guys. 15 from 101. I'm not a fan of this batting. I'm not a fan. I respect it. 15 of 101. That's just being so precious. That just tells you that they know they have much more to lose than India. India should seize on this mental advantage that they have. Driven firmly to cover. No run. Caught the toe endish of the blade. Makes sense, hopefully. Yeah. It was Maury Kine Williamson. Really nice length there by Shami. Right up to Kane Williamson. Should keep at it over there. Oh, beautiful, beautiful delivery. You could see that with his wrist itself that he was using some middle finger to get some shape. And slightly squared Williamson up. But Williamson drops it with soft hands. 15 of 107, man. That is... Oh, I don't know if that's good, honestly, for New Zealand. I think that's just put them in a bubble, a very seemingly secure but in reality insecure bubble, because they've almost resigned to the fact that they want to honestly just draw this game. They're very happy with the draw. India should dance all over this approach by New Zealand, because this is saying that, hey, India, we are very happy with the draw here. A draw is a win for us. And you'll be like, oh yeah? Is that what you're thinking? Because a win is a win for us. A draw is a loss for us. And take it from there. Bumrah coming around the wicket like I wanted to Nicholls. 2 slips in place and a third slip also, but slightly gullyish. A wide third slip. And Nicholls inside it is onto his knee. Rolls onto his knee. May have hurt him a bit. That kind of zipped off the wicket off a shot of length. And yeah, I like this around the wicket business by Jasprit Bumrah. No, 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 no! Don't have your hands in the pocket, please. Don't do that. I know it's cold, but it just I'm not a fan of this. No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Rub it instead. Yeah, blow into it. Yeah, just don't put it in the pocket. Oh wow! What a delivery again! Angling in and straightening. Nichols tries to leave it, but it takes some bat on the way. And yeah, I think Bumrah is finding something here, finding a good speed, finding a good rhythm as well. He's got a strike rate of 49 against left-handed batsmen. That means every 49 balls he strikes against a left-hander. He averages more against the left-hander, although wouldn't read too much into that. 3 slips. Bumrah, Nichols plays it fairly confidently and comfortably off the back foot. Does Nichols. 141 clicks. Would like to see that, but it's very cold. Very cold. So expect the best bowling from Bumrah right now because he's all warmed up. He's got the temperatures up. He's got those muscles and those tissues all well oiled. I think that was a no ball. Yeah. Yeah, that was a no ball called. Into his 19th over is Bumrah. On the front foot, Nichols looking a little bit suspect. Not suspect. Just looking a little bit unsure of his feet movement. He's eager to come in front, come forward, but then that's what can bring down his wicket because when you're too eager with your front foot, you feel like making contact, and that's what might induce the edge. Bumrah Nichols. And that's floated outside off stump, I want to say, but that's actually bowled pretty quick. Left alone there by Nichols. Is Bumrah's lack of consistency? Welcome to the stream, Aryan Bakshi. I have not seen you before. So welcome to the stream. Is Bumrah's lack of consistency in length is the way? Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. Having said that, that applies to every bowler, honestly. It's just not a Bumrah thing. It applies to every bowler under any circumstance. Bumrah has found a fuller length this inning, and that should yield some reward very soon. Problem with Bumrah is that he's just trying too much with his lengths. I think he gets a little bored and then tries to do something, tries to drag it back a bit. As you can see, he changed his pace also there a bit, went slower. So I think he should just be a little more patient with that fullish length, not be afraid to get driven, and he'll get there. Ravi Shastri looking like a villain in the Martin Scorsese movie. I think that'll be great, wouldn't it? Imagine Martin Scorsese casting Ravi Shastri as a low-key but high-key Bandra Don. That'd be fun. That's an idea. Isn't it? Get it up there, Bumrah. Get it up. Find that full length. Get him driving. Too full, actually, and that's just whipped. Whipped to square leg for 4. 2 at the stumps there. Kind of released, unhooked the pressure there that was created on Williamson. What a hairstyle there. My God. Narendra Modi would keep him at his place thinking he's a peacock. I don't know if you have seen Narendra Modi's peacock videos, but that is the tits. That is peak internet. No pun intended. But please feast your eyes to Narendra Modi and the peacock. That's OG content. That's OG content, ladies and gentlemen. Just 2 viewers. Just 2 viewers. Studios. Where are we at? I think it's time to bring Ravichandran Ashwin just before lunch. He has a knack of picking wickets before an interval. So I would like to see the last over after this. I think Ishant is bowling right now. The last over before lunch should be Ravichandran Ashwin. Ishant Sharma. Ishant Sharma. कर रहा है? Ishant. Very economical so far. Around the wicket with the left-hander Nichols. Leaves that one outside the off stump. Ishant Sharma is the only bowler in this lineup that can get, in the seam lineup, that can get the ball to move away from the left-hander from around the wicket. Not as well as James Anderson or a Tim Southee or a Dale Steyn, but still effective. He's got that angled wrist and he really gives it a good amount of backspin. Really flicks that seam really well, which was missing for the first 8 years of his career, but suddenly something. I think he found it with working with Jason Gillespie as his coach in Sussex, and he played that season of county cricket in 2017. I want to say. Oh, well bowled there. Touch outside the fifth stump, and Nichols has a feel for it, but plays it late on the back foot. So the idea here to Nichols is to get him driving, and then if it straightens, then all three slips come into play. Ishant Sharma's average has been better than Pat Cummins and Jasprit Bumrah in the last 2 years. So that's some food for thought. 3 slips in place. Gets him driving and it's gone! That's edged and gone. That's exactly what I was saying. Get him driving on the front foot, and if it straightens, it takes the edge and it's gone. Number 4. Number 4. What a beautiful bowling. Got him committed on the front foot. Slight away movement. Nichols too late to withdraw from the shot, and that takes a healthy edge to second slip. I think Virat Kohli pouched it and Rohit Sharma was trying to dive. Let's see what happened there. Oh, no. Virat Kohli's second slip. It was coming straight to Pujara. Oh, that's Rohit Sharma at second slip. Coming straight to Pujara. And he makes the dive. It was actually heading straight to Pujara's hands, man. But Pudgy, I think Pudgy has had some nice samosas. Got into a good mood. And he was diving to the right side. So, wow. Just on cue, as I was saying that this was the mode of dismissal, and it happened. Damn, son. Damn. Let's go. Yeah, man. Let's go. Let us go, brother. Let us go, brother. Still, New Zealand have a lot of batting to come. There's Watling. There's Jameson. There's Wagner. All really good batting. All really capable batsmen, especially Watling. Watling playing his last test. And New Zealand suddenly on the back foot. They started the day itself on the back foot. And now finding themselves further in the hole over here. Not that it's a deep hole, but a hole nonetheless. Watling has been the best wicketkeeper batsman since 2012. Most runs by a wicketkeeper since 2012. And that sharp nip back takes the thigh guard and glanced to fine leg. Beautiful bowling there by Nichols. Got him early committed on the front foot. Slight deviation off the deck. And Rohit Sharma making no mistake. Just went for it, Rohit Sharma. Just saw it and said, this is mine. Although it was heading straight to Pujara. Oh, that was. Oh man, that was a nice catch. That was a nice catch. Came at some speed as well, but that ring finger really clasps onto it more than anything else. There's a leg slip in place now for Kane Williamson. Oh my god, absolute peach. Just outside off stump, straightening. Williamson plays the first line and holds his shape, and that's what allowed him to miss the ball rather than edge it. Rohit Sharma was happy. He was happy with that. That was so well bowled. Couldn't do anything about that, Nichols, because actually that wasn't all that full also. So that was the perfect length. Again, defended from the crease. Williamson has been so attritional. I don't know whether it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing what he's done for New Zealand in this first session. He sent a signal saying that we are very happy with the draw. And that's what I think has given India that mental edge. I don't think it was. I don't think it's a collapse incoming. I think it's going to be a. I don't think it's going to be a collapse. I think it'll be a steady chip away. Rohit thought it was a vada flying to one leg for himself. Could be. There's a high chance of that being the case. Very high chance. I think this is the last over before Lynch.
Hold that, even though that's the view.
I don't think they've listened to me by going with Ashwin for the last over. Should have. Maybe there's an over after this as well. But let's see. Mohammad Shami. Mohammad Shams into the attack. I'm also nervous. My legs are shaking. Short leg, 3 slips and a gully in place. Wow, that's bold! That's bold! That's a peach! That's an absolute goddamn peach, man. I've never seen a better ball than that. That was an absolute peach, man. That was a plum. That was a peach. Damn, Justin Bieber must be proud of himself right now. Jesus Christ. That was a California peach. I don't know if California makes the best peaches, but if they did, it would be like that. That was so gorgeous. That was so gorgeous. That's what happens when you bowl full, Mohammad Shami. That's what happens when you bowl full, Mohammad Shami. That was fullish length, angling into middle stump, pitching and holding its line. BJ Watling playing the first line, playing the line that was initially left Mohammad Shami's hand and had no answer after it pitched. Pitched and it moved ever so slightly and takes the top off. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was a ball of the World Test Championship. That was insane, man. That was insane. So guys, I wherever Ashray Arud is, I've been saying that this match has so many overs left. Oh boy. Dear, oh dear, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun, man. What a wicket, man. What a ball. Mel Gibson comes out to convert people to tell the Jews that they're wrong. But guess what? There are no Jews. There are Indians. There are good old Indians. Three slips. Oh, again, absolute beauty. A movement in the air, full. Shami has found his length, boys. Guys, one thing. Test cricket is about length. It's about length. It's about length. It's about getting the batsman confused. Whether do I go on the front foot or do I stay on the back foot? What do I do? It's that in between lengths. That's what Test cricket is about. T20, that same length you can hit across the line. Test cricket hard, and that's what makes it the greatest sport in the world. Oh, again, very good ball. Defended solidly from the crease by Mel Gibson. Damn, son, that ball was so freaking gorgeous, man. Dude, dude. There are Eastern Europeans, and then there's that Mohammad Shami ball. Hard to separate them. What a ball, man. Watling. Oh, is this the line? Nope. Psh. Clash bashang. Damn, son. Damn. Yeah, what a delivery, man. What a delivery. I would give that 5 stars to that delivery. 5 stars. Yeah, Virat Kohli just said, fucking hell, come on. Virat Kohli just said, fucking hell, come on. Vijay Watling looks like Dale Stein's fourth cousin. Bowled again there, Grandhome. Forgot about Colin de Grandhome. I forgot about CDG, aka MG, Mel Gibson. I think he's a bit too big to play swing bowling. I can remember other big lads. Jacob Oram, if you guys can remember. Jacob Oram was solid bat, yeah. But generally think that large dudes find it a little more difficult to, bend and sniff the delivery as compared to medium-sized dudes. Big men traditionally are weak against the moving ball. I don't know if someone can do an analysis, but I want to see averages of batsmen over 6'2" against swing bowling as compared to guys below 6'2". Ishant Sharma to Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson is just hell bent on defending, no intent to score, just absolute devoid of intent of scoring. India creating the early pressure and then reaping the rewards later in the session. Yeah, Ishant. Yeah, boy. A lot of talk about, we should have. My God, what a delivery, man. What a delivery. Ishant. 2 slips in place and a leg slip. Wonder why he's got that leg slip in place. Maybe because he tends to overcorrect with that in swinger. So maybe one that's flicked can possibly go to leg slip, which is flicked a little bit officially. I think the umpire has just held up Ishant and said that you may be running into the danger area. But yeah, in New Zealand still trail by 82. That seems like a lot of runs from now. Williamson is hell bent on proving that he can't score runs. Because that's what it looks like. Look, I'm the biggest KW fan that there will be. But it honestly, as a neutral viewer, I just think that Kane Williamson has just resigned to the fact that the best result possible for New Zealand is a draw. And now suddenly, it feels like New Zealand, Mohammad Shami is draping himself like someone on the set of a Shekhar Gupta movie. He seems to be really enjoying himself. He looks like a uncomfortable chef. Oh, swung it. That's exactly what I was talking about. Swing in. Williamson tries to flick it, doesn't get contact. And if he had just gotten a little more bat, then that leg slip would have come into play. Muhammad Shami getting some warmth in. He can do anything he wants to at this stage after bowling ball of the World Test Championship. Honestly, anything is allowed. Someone give him a goat to eat along with Siraj during lunch. Can they arrange a goat? I see what you mean. The line of sight and center of mass of taller batsmen are higher. So it's harder to keep themselves as stable as shorter batsmen. Yeah. Probably the reason that's much better. Yeah. Excellent deduction there by Kabir Kudus. Absolute fine analysis as Williamson tries to leave. The ball takes the bat on the leave and just drops in front of first slip. India on the ascendancy here. Is this the last ball before lunch? I would think so. Yeah, this is the last ball before lunch. Just tries to withdraw in the last second. Imagine if they can scalp one here. Oh boy. Again, beautiful length. Williamson thinking about the stride forward, also thinking about going back and somewhere in between. What a session here for India. What a beautiful session. A dream session. Two slips and a leg slip in place. Played right underneath his eyes. That moved in. That was full. Well played there, Williamson. Look, he's played really well. He's defended the ball really well, but it's just there's the lack of intent to say that, hey, we are also not satisfied with the draw. When we want to make a winning match of this, that just lacked. And I think India smelt that early. They smelt that like a police dog. Anyway, that is that. That is that. Lunch has been called. And I'll see you guys soon. Inshallah. Take care. Khuda Hafiz. Sayonara. Udre Zaishinos.